to the cloud. Oh, now it says recording in process. So I can pause it, right?
Because we're only about 3 months. We're only about 3 months out. So we need to consistently sort of do the face-to-face, even if it's only a half an hour, we could do it every other week, whatever works for the team here. And I know a few people were not able to join us, but I can always send out some minutes afterwards.
Yeah, Marlene sends her apologies.
Yeah.
Richard had to be taken to the hospital.
Yeah, yeah, unfortunately, we were talking about that a minute ago. So we'll start off with the fact sheet just to get us all grounded. We do have the Crowne Plaza, the entire ballroom. The ballroom seats upwards of 800, which I believe that the way we look at it, probably our goal would be 300 attendees would be really good in person. Having the time set at 11 a.m. as social as people come in, and then start at 11:30. And then have brunch, a welcome and then brunch served, that type of thing. We can look at the options of having a silent auction that can be talked about at a further date. I can go either way. It's just one more item or part of the event to manage. On the talking points that I sent out to you today, and the board of directors already had this, is the tax ID, just bullet points on community service awards, Elaine Pitt Community Service Awards, having videos and photographs and that kind of thing running on the big screens, looking at reaching out for our partnerships. I'm starting to reach out to those that have donated in the past to see where they are and how they would like to be involved. And then our benefit drawing tickets, still working on getting a few more prizes. We changed it this year to $25 versus $50, and you receive 2 tickets. One will be green, that is our cash drawing. It's the easiest way for me to keep them in 2 bins. You'll be automatically in the drawing for $2,500, $1,500, and $500. And then the other drawing, which will be a white ticket with blue print, will have other opportunity items for you to choose, and you get to check one of the 10 gifts that you would like to be in that little bin. So it's like 11 buckets that we will have, for lack of a better term, for being able to win something. And I think having the cost down, then we can also sell tickets during the event, and then have the drawing about 1 o'clock towards the end, and then slide into volunteer recognition, or we can change it a little bit, but somewhere later. So after the auction is done, the live auction. Admission, I'm recommending that it's $75 a person. I'm working with the Crowne Plaza right now to see what our brunch costs would be. $75 typically covers the venue, the AV, the marketing, as well as the meal. Okay. Crowne Plaza waives they typically charge anywhere between $1,000 to $10,000 for the use of the ballroom, just to walk in the door. Typically they have waived that, and I believe they will waive that fee again. So food is usually around $10,000, just so you know, if you start doing our math. The cost of the event is typically around $15,000. Okay, so that's why the 17, if you start doing the math, and I can put the budget together and compare it from last year or 2 years ago, I think that'll be helpful for you to understand why we're looking at 75 versus 50 or 65 or something else like that. And that's lower than most other attended events. Talking points to keep us all on the same page is that the benefit is really to celebrate.
Mary,
yes.
sorry, can I do you want questions at the end?
Yeah, that would be helpful, but I could stop right there. and then go on that. Go ahead.
If I'm just thinking with this hybrid, is it possible to charge people if they want the hybrid option?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to end up doing the hybrid because it's going to cost us more.
Okay,
That's why I'm hesitating on that. What do you all think?
I'm just thinking if we offer a hybrid, people are getting in for free versus $75.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my thought.
Okay, understood. Yeah. They won't get a meal and they won't be a part of the event as in
No.
physically.
But
And go ahead.
no, I'm
Oh,
just,
they could be a lower cost.
yes, it wouldn't be $75, but maybe a token $20 or
Mhm.
something.
Mhm.
Just in case, just a thought.
Okay.
I'm just curious, Mary, how much more would it be to add the hybrid, like that option? Not that we
Yeah,
need to
I'm
do
working
it,
with
but,
the Crown Plaza. They have a required vendor that I need to use.
oh,
And all this is sort of new to them too. We do hybrid for Rotary and some other events I've been at. It's not the most pleasant thing to be because of background noise and other things trying to control that. So if I'm gonna pay for that, I want it to be a good, high quality, virtual experience, because virtual isn't, it's very difficult to manage a virtual experience when you also have a live experience happening at the same time.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, it's very difficult.
Yeah. And it's being done and lessons are being learned right now. So I'm paying attention to all these different organizations that are doing things that I'm on their list and just seeing, what are the pros and cons? Would we lose people that would otherwise attend virtually if they didn't feel comfortable in attending? The other thing is we don't know what's happening 3 months from now. It's sort of out of our control with the county, state, world, all the things that are happening if you keep up with that. So that's one of my concerns. I've been to several live meetings the last few weeks for various organizations, and most of them just have them live. They're not opting out, except for my Rotary Club just had an end of the year party. Phyllis, we didn't do virtual. It was either attend or not, and they spread us out, but it was still, no one wore masks. So we'll see. So please, as a team, keep your eye out, see what you learn, see what other groups are doing, and we can further this discussion. I think it's really important. Any other comments on this? Okay. So I'll look into that. I already am, but I just don't know the numbers yet. Also on auctioneer, Chad and Carolyn, the principal auctioneer, they're sending me a contract for us to review to see if we want to go that way. I spoke with, Dan Demers doesn't really reply very often, that stays here. So I spoke with Greg Cool, who is one of our sponsors. He does our phones for us, and a Rotarian. And he said instead of him, because he can also be an auctioneer, is that Dan would be good. And I said, Dan has refused the last 3 years. Their auction and benefit is typically in October. And I have sent an email to Jerry Hill, but otherwise that's as far as I've gone on auctioneers. But our previous auctioneer, Chad, is open and he's holding the date for us. I just have not received the contract, and I told him we need it so we can decide, because that's another cost, but it's also an advantage. So you can play, and being in person, it really makes a big difference. Okay, any other questions on that first half? All right. Hearing none. Moving on to talking points, just recall that what I'm working with Color Print to do our mailing for our postcard, to have a save the date again, as well as adding on our logo, we have building dynamic community. And then underneath that, there's a letter I just did sent out for older adults so that it's the same font and the same color, because I don't have that on my computer. I can't match our font. So, and I don't have that software. So I'm going to have them do that. And then we can look at it as a board of directors, but also as the team, so that we start pushing that out as a message.
So Mary, when you get that logo with the new
Mhm.
words, can you send that to me?
I'm sending
Will
it to,
will you send
yeah,
it to everybody on the board?
yeah, I am. That's what I think I just said. Okay, yeah, because I want to start replacing that, which would be great. Okay, remember, we're celebrating our 8th year, and for, you know, our continuous service for older adults to stay living in their homes and community within the 94404 zip code.
Okay, Mary, I apologize. I thought you were talking about sending it to color, not to the board. So that's why I wanted to ask.
No, Color Print is creating it for us for free.
Okay.
They're going to put it together and then give us a couple options, and then I'll give it to you, because on our printed material, especially for this, I want that added on, you know, per the board's directive, you know,
Yep.
when we had, yeah. Does that
Okay.
work? Yeah.
Yep. Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, no,
Wasn't
that's
so clear
good.
before.
Exactly.
All out.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah, and then remember that the funds are being raised mainly for our, you know, to keep our memberships dues at, you know, paying in advance $365 for services, $1 a day. And we're going to be really pushing for providing monetary assisted memberships for those in financial need, you know, so
Mary,
that they,
I'm
yes.
sorry, can we change that monetary assisted to fee assisted? That's what we
Yeah.
have on our membership, and it sounds like we're paying them, or, you know, giving them money.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay, perfect. Got it.
Okay.
Mhm. For financial support.
Yes,
Right.
yes.
I got somebody at my door. Sorry, everything's ringing over here. Okay, so on donations, the next section on that 1-page cheat sheet is monetary donations are always accepted. It could be in honor of someone. Nothing is too small or too large. In previous years, we've received anything from $25 up to $25,000. Okay. Was it 25? No, it was more 10,000. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of grants. And then live auction items, please, if you have any contacts, something that's worth $1,000 or more, I'll accept them up to the month before the event, which is September 17th, because we'll be going to print. I prefer it at the beginning of September. So we go to print for our program, and then also updating our website and other types of things. And then all gift certificates, preferred that they're worth at least $25 each. And then we can gang them together, put them together as a interesting sort of prize. And then Richard was working on Zelle, and I went and met with Wells Fargo, our business rep, and they say sometime in July that Wells Fargo will also have the Zelle app so that people can just transfer money from their account to our account. And what we're looking at doing is opening a checking account that is just for donations. So it's sort of our 501c3 donation, easy to track checking account. And then the other one is more for operations, payroll, you know, all of that kind of thing, other reimbursements. And then it's easier for Richard and I to track. So Supriya and Mark are on board with that. Any comments on that, Supriya?
Nope, all good.
Okay, great. So we're just trying to expand that. PayPal was a little difficult for Richard and me, as well as, what's the other one? Venmo. Okay, so any comments on this? Any additions, any questions?
Just Mary, under one, I think donation to TOO, smaller, TOO large. Isn't it
Oh.
two, put another O there?
Great. Agreed. Thank you. Good eye. Anyone else?
Just shows I read it. There you go.
I know. Good girl. This is what Okay. And another document I sent out today, I'm not going to print today, but for our, sorry, my voice keeps coming and going, is the, it's what I used last year, but I edited a little bit for our tickets. I don't know if I printed that out. I gotta pull it up. But,
Is this the actual size they will be, Mary?
pardon me, say it again.
Will this be the actual size or is this just a likeness?
Oh, none of it. It's just the text.
Okay, I'm just
The
I'm
size will-
wondering how much room
size-
you're going to write in the names and information this year.
Yeah, it's not gonna be as small as last year. It'll be about twice the size. I was trying to save money a little bit on printing because they charge by the sheet. And they're, you know, color and front and back. So we can talk about that on the side, Sherry, on just size, because I know they'll have to be larger, not just for writing that in, but also for me to be able to list all the prizes for the opportunity, you know, options. Okay.
Could I ask you a question, Mary? Because when I was looking at the ticket wording also,
Yeah.
is that the final category? You would call it benefit cash? Because I thought that was sort of strange.
I just put it in there, actually this morning as I was looking at it. If we have something else, it's like a cash drawing.
Yeah, I mean,
And then
rather
a prize drawing, right, Sherry? Sherry and I were talking about this. Did you have something, Sherry?
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about a different word for opportunity, such as
Yes.
choice,
Yeah.
your choice drawing.
well,
Because that's basically what it is, isn't it? Is there, they can go in
Yeah.
and choose what they want to select.
Yeah, so you have a choice drawing, something like that, instead of opportunity. She said it was a little confusing when you
Maybe.
choose.
yeah,
Mhm.
something more descriptive of the
Yeah.
cash. Something or other cash, but not benefit cash. That doesn't sound
Cash drawing.
right.
How's cash drawing?
Yeah, I think that's better than benefit cash. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll go cash drawing and choice drawing, or Sherry and I will talk a little more about that. Any other comments
Or
on?
prize of your choice drawing.
Yeah, we're looking for suggestions on how to word that to make
Okay,
it.
prize of your choice drawing. I can do that. I mean, the ticket itself is going to be larger, so it'll be easier to put on it. And then when you buy or donate $25, then you get 2 tickets. You'll get a green one and a white one.
Well,
get-
and Mary, we discussed actually, just to regroup a bit on the word opportunity. I had suggested option or other option, and you didn't like the use of the word option.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, yeah. But I like the idea of prize of your choice drawing, because then it has them all listed. You know, just bullet points, and then they get to make a little X on which one they want, and then that's the bucket it goes in.
Okay.
You know, 1 to 10.
Everybody else happy with that? We'll
Okay.
take that. Yes.
We'll take that. Hearing nothing, that means yes. That's what my dad said.
Yeah.
Don't say anything, you agree. Well, and you still have a couple days before I go to the printer. So, and then I'll run it by you too before it goes to print, because I love your eyes. You know, I need lots of eyes to proof. Okay. All right. The most important thing that I'd really like to talk about today is our volunteer awards, the nominations. And I don't think this will be the final. We may end up, Supriya, having it during the August meeting versus the July meeting. There's no rush, because I can still get the crystals done in time if I know at our August board meeting who is going to be awarded, you know, crystals or whatever we decide to give them as, you know, and certificates. So I'd like to go around the virtual table once I make these comments before we get into the nitty gritty of who should be awarded. As within other organizations and even before the Chamber of Commerce and their, I guess, sort of annual recognition meeting, I was thinking that we should broaden our categories and recognize more than one person or entity in each of these. And we could create another one. One Sherry and I were talking about is a recognition award for service for Sophia as she leaves, because and Jim Wamba, so we have a recognition award for, it's not like volunteer because she wasn't a volunteer, Jim was, but then looking at our individual volunteers that keep us alive, recognizing, I would suggest we have some type of recognition for every single person that has volunteered this last year and a half. Just like a certificate, because, it's like a participation award, but it's still a recognition because of all our volunteers. We wouldn't have made it through, the pandemic. So that's the first thought. The second one is really looking at these two categories that we created in 2018. Do they still work for us? And there's no reason and no rule or law that says that we only give one. Okay, it could be an individual, it could be a group, it could be two groups, when it comes to community service. So that's really my thought. Supriya, do you have a few thoughts on that?
With respect to volunteer, I do like the idea of recognizing all of our volunteers, because every single one of them is critical to our organization, and also because we've never done that before. It's important to, if we say we're recognizing volunteers, we really should name them and give them something. Even giving them something is not as important as naming them somewhere in some place, because a lot of our volunteers are very quietly live in the shadows and give very unselfishly and never ask for anything in return. So that's important. I do want to also stress on the overall theme of, as part of the benefit, I would like to make sure we highlight our members and more than we have in the past.
Okay.
So I would like to see this, and the reason I bring it up is it requires a lot of advanced planning. As we have events through the month of July, we don't have to do things at the last minute in terms of videotaping them. But if there are activities, photographs to be taken, videos to be taken of events and members in action and volunteers in action, we will have to plan for that early, sooner rather than later, because at the last minute for benefit itself, there are so many to-dos. But we can get the capturing of the photos and videos in the early months, because it's meant to capture sort of the amalgam of services and programs and events that we provide.
What I was thinking about doing also, depending on what our team decides, is that we'll have a program. So to list all our members and thank all our volunteers. So we can thank all our volunteers, have them all listed alphabetically or however we want to do it, but then also have, a couple pages of the ones that we're bringing out, but just really bring it home, because we are a volunteer organization. Okay.
Well, and Mary, something just food for thought. I was just kicking it around in my head. I would kind of like to see something like an Energizer Bunny Award for a volunteer, Phyllis Brown.
Oh, no, I
because
got it
she's
last
always
year.
on.
No, I got the volunteer of the year last year. That was plenty. That was lovely. I mean, it was beautiful. I've been recognized. No, thank you. Thank you, though.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And I apologize, I did not bring this up to the group. Some of us know, some of us may not. We recognized the hoppers. Okay. And our first year, we recognized the Garens, both of them, Gil and Audrey, then the hoppers, and now this last year, the Browns. So those are the ones that we have in the past.
so who would you suggest this year?
Well, I want to have it broader. We can get into that in a second. I just want to see if there's any other comments on how, the broader categories of who we think we should recognize versus the exact person or entity.
Can I mention something?
Yeah.
'Cause I
Yes.
liked what Supriya said
Mhm.
about getting pictures and things together, because a lot of our events are only once a month.
Yeah,
So considering the fact that today, we're going into July, and say, the book club and all those that meet once a month, we really need to make an effort to get
Okay.
decent photos.
okay.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, we've got to get better stock photos, and I mean, I've got a high-end phone now. And one of the 12s, it's amazing what they can do. You just have to do it horizontal, not portrait. Okay, let's see. Anyone else have any on this part before we go into the next? Okay, hearing
I
none.
just, Mary, I was just wondering, can you
Yeah.
use some pictures from before, like during the year that have been taken? Can you just?
Yeah, this last year,
call out?
we have some that are outdoors, of delivering meals, and
Yeah, yeah.
some at Second Harvest Food Bank. And I think we did a few Meals on Wheels, but I'll need to double check with those that I know have them and be sure that they're a quality. And we may have to stage some, Jennifer. It's not that it has to be exactly the day and time that the book club happened. Maybe we gather them and have them all sit around and have a book in their hand and stage it. If that makes sense, because you're still capturing the idea and the essence of what the club is. A couple of years ago, I was out there doing videos and different things before I really understood how to do it, of bocce ball and a few others. And there is finesse to it. I've got a really good friend that he is really into doing videos, and he might do it for free for us because he's been doing it for free for me for a long time on other topics than the village. So, okay. Are we ready to just sort of talk about why don't we start with our community volunteer? We have, I went through, thank you, Supriya, by way, for sending all this to me. What I did was, in the document that I sent you last week, is all I did was bold the names and I numbered them, just so it would organize it. I did it on both of them right now have 5. We are still open for nominations and thoughts and discussions. Right now, and we don't have a whole lot of people here, but it's a good conversation to start with all of you, is we have the Chamber of Commerce, Joanne Bohigian by Marlene, and then the Rotary Club of Foster City by Phyllis, Samaritan House Volunteers by me, the Foster City Chamber of Commerce by me, and then the Foster City Chamber of Commerce, Joanne Bohigian by Supriya. I think there's a theme here.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we talk about each of them, are there any other nominations for this is for community that don't necessarily belong to the village. And if you look at the description that I also sent out, it's really awarding an individual, family, or organization that exemplifies the life of community service, okay? by making a significant contribution through their time, actions, and talents. The honoree or honorees selected for this role should be a role model for passion, service, serving to make the world a better place locally and or globally. And the honoree or honorees should have a passion for helping others in his or her community.
Mary, I do
Yeah.
have a suggestion. What
Okay.
about the Foster City Library? Because they kept functioning all during the pandemic.
Okay. Sounds great. The one thing I'd like you to think about is when you look at these, I think it's 4 entities. We've got the Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary Club, the Samaritan House, and now the library. It's really what happens is typically when you recognize an entity, a large group or an organization, they send a representative or 2 or 3. So what I would suggest is that if we decide to recognize all 4, or if we recognize a couple, that we invite them to bring their board or whomever, like Joanne, because it's a team effort, maybe Dan, he's VP and some others, and then they have a table and then we recognize them. Any other comments on that?
Well, the rotating theme here really is the Chamber of Commerce. And I think they are deserving. I also think the Rotary Club has been a lot of help to us. Haven't they been loaning us drivers and occasionally when we needed them, cooks for our barbecue?
Yeah,
Well,
well, they started us off. We were under their 501(c)(3) until we got our own. They
Yeah.
gave us seed money to get started. And Mark Watson and Curtis Chin are sponsoring our speakers series. And I really think that they've certainly contributed an awful lot to the village, not only to provided a lot of volunteers.
What I mean for me, and yeah, I'm not going to recuse myself because I've sort of got both hats on. But knowing what happened when we were founded, I was president of my Rotary Club, and I just said, "Fly, be free, go do it. Here's some money, go, go, go," kind of thing. And then everybody else was jumping in and helping, local community volunteers. So it really did take a village to create the village. But really looking at, there's another group, our founding board of directors. So if you do the Rotary Club, it's almost like the board of directors too. I mean, I know we've invited in the past, but how do you feel if we recognize, without getting into the weeds here, looking at the Chamber of Commerce is the common thread, the Rotary Club, and the founding fathers and mothers of us. I don't know. Think about it. Is that too many? Is that enough? How do you feel?
Can you ever have too many?
I don't think so. I think that it's the intent of doing it, for me, in my heart, it's doing it a little differently because of a worldwide pandemic. And we might still be having this conversation today in a little different light if we didn't have a pandemic. But because the chamber helped bring us together and the Rotary Club didn't run and hide, and just really, we've never really recognized how we were created. I think that would be sort of a gracious thing to do, unless you call
then
it.
that's by gracious.
Yeah.
We want to be gracious.
I don't know about the original board of directors.
Mhm.
Not many of them stuck around.
Okay.
And
I just threw it out there.
yeah, no, I hear you. It was not a good time in the old town with them.
Yeah.
So I think we should avoid that little caveat.
Okay. So, other comments?
Unless you recognize our current board should be recognized in some way.
Yeah, and
So,
I think having them all listed in the program and having our MC talk about that and, maybe goals that really, Supriya has spoken the last few times of our status and how we're doing. It's sort of the quick, here, yay, we made it through. And, she could bring a message from the board and create something.
Yeah, especially now that we are getting into strategic planning, I think there may be more material than ever before.
Yeah.
As
So
to direction.
you would still be on the agenda, Supriya, as our president. And look at, timing of when we do that, where it's all tied in together. It's almost, if we can keep it light and bright, it might be part of the welcome versus at the end. I think at the end is too late. We're tired. We're ready to go home.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely needs to be upfront.
Yeah.
A lot of even our highlighting of our members also needs to be, actually there's going to be a lot of competition on what goes ahead.
Yeah,
because
well,
even highlighting our members needs to go up front.
Yeah, it'll be more strategic and really pre-show stuff, showing, running the videos and a few other things. Yeah, I agree. It will have to be from what we've learned in the past and how we want to shift it, because we really are, we are putting on a show. Okay, it really is. It's a production. It is a big special event. And yes, underlying, what are our outcomes? What do we want our outcomes to be? And so next time we meet, I'd like you all to bring back some thoughts. You can send them to me beforehand. I'll put them together. But as you walk away as just an average community member, attendee, someone that's been recognized, someone that's been involved within our village community and our Foster City community, what do you want to walk away with? What feelings and how, and then what we do is, as event planners, we create that, and we hope that at least 90 to 99% of the people that attend have some kind of aha moment and feel good about us and feel good about what they do to support their community. Because it's also a time to recruit, volunteers, members, and to re-energize, as dear Sherry said, re-energize us.
Yeah.
So.
Mary,
And
I'm sorry.
No,
Have you
go
given
ahead,
any-
Sherry.
Go ahead, Sherry.
Have you given any thought to recognizing the restaurants that help support our food delivery program?
Yeah, there's got to be a unique way to do that, because of, we were there to, along with other organizations, we were purchasing meals at, it wasn't at cost. So, but they are donating, like $50 gift certificates to us for a fundraiser. I don't know. I got to get my head around that.
Okay.
Of maybe within the program, we can also highlight them and say, yeah, they were there to help support, but it wasn't free. I mean, with grant funding, that's how we did it with our volunteers and to keep our restaurants alive.
Well, and they hung in there. I think that it was a time consuming effort on their part. Yes, we did pay them, but that's the name of the game.
Right. So let's table that and look at how we can, it's a great thought, and let's see if we can make it come to fruition.
I would like to see, depending on how the hybrid version also works out, I would like to see a solid PowerPoint deck highlighting all of the things that we have done, all of our achievements. Because there have been lots and lots of things we've achieved this past year and a half. And it will be too much to talk about all of them. But I would love to see it on a PowerPoint deck or some kind of a visual.
Okay.
Depending on how the, whether it's hybrid or in person, we'd have to work that through. But I would like to see that happen. And then another thing I do want to, and and some of the things that, in addition to all the programs and the PPEs and the chamber involvement, the new programs we piloted, we tried out, new things we keep trying. These are all things we want to highlight. I would also, even the instituting of the centenarian membership is something I would love to highlight. The 10,000 grant from Frank Grant, without mentioning his name, I know he wants to be anonymous. We can keep him anonymous, but I would like to sort of, at least talk about it as a way to get other people thinking about donating and about, their legacy.
Yeah,
So it would
agreed.
make a nice story. We can work, with Ed and with maybe Frank's daughter. We just want to talk about it. We'll never mention names. We'll respect whatever they want.
Yeah, it's
Good idea.
nice to acknowledge anonymous donors, and it's a unique thing to do. And we are really lucky to have him
Yeah.
to be anonymous. I mean, people think about, well, why be anonymous? Well, there's various reasons. And it's not our right to say, or to try to push hard to change someone's mind on what they want. And yeah, I learned a new word too this year. What is it? How do you pronounce that word?
Centennial?
Say it again.
Well, there's centennial and there's centenarian.
Centenarian. I knew
Centenarian.
that. I thought it was great. So we can highlight both of them too.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, with anonymous being one, but the creation of that, I should say, and then highlight Isabel. Okay, awesome. Other comments? It sounds like we might be happy to present the Rotary Club of Foster City and the Chamber of Commerce, Foster City Chamber of Commerce, to be recognized this year.
I think so.
Any other comments on that? Okay, if you have any other ideas or something, aha moments, let me know. But Supriya, I can put that in my board of directors report. But I think that I would suggest that maybe we officially vote. We'll go to the next section because we have another 15 minutes. Because we have several that aren't on the call. But they might be able to be on the board of directors call, but that's like is that in 2 weeks?
July 8th.
Yeah. So we'll see how things are going, and I'll let you take the lead on that if you think it's the appropriate time or we need to push it back to August.
No, we can make time in July. I think there'll be other things to talk about in August. I think July would be better.
Okay. I'm just thinking of Richard and Marlene. Hopefully they'll be better and be able to. That's the only thing I'm thinking. So, okay, let's move on to the next award category. Now, remember, we can create new categories. This one, of course, came about because of Miss Elaine Pitts and her bequest that she left us in her trust, $25,500, I believe. And so the board of directors named this volunteer of the year for our involved members, the Foster City members, volunteers, partners, spouses, individuals, families, and organizations that are deeply involved, that are connected to us, that are members, for their support and outstanding contributions. Sort of basically the same thing I read earlier. Right now we have, close your ears, Jennifer Malamet, the founding board of the board of directors of us, which sounds like it might have been nixed, Miss Supriya, and Claire Byron. Those are the main three. Discussion?
Well, unfortunately, Claire has relocated and is no longer volunteering.
Okay.
So I don't know
I agree.
So
if it
She's
would be
not in the area.
appropriate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She's gone. Okay. Are there other volunteers that stand out to you?
So the reason I chose Claire was precisely because she is the sort of volunteer who has, I mean, she's done done so many requests. And the remarkable thing about her is she lives in the shadows, and she never, even if you speak to her in person, she never says anything. So I know she's the kind of volunteer recognition that we as an organization may not get anything from recognizing her because she's gone, but it's in the spirit of everything she has been that I feel, and especially as an individual, right? That's the only reason I chose her. And I made the red thing knowing that she was gone and that she's going and she may not even be there. But I think it's still important to recognize her contributions.
And then we can
But I don't know. We are going to recognize all of the volunteers. So we may want to call it out as part of that because she was one of them. And so either way, that was my only thinking. I'm flexible, it doesn't matter.
Playing off that comment, it's really, the person doesn't have to be here. I mean, they could have passed on. Okay, and you do it on their behalf, and we can mail her a certificate and a crystal, whatever. I mean, we can create our own recognition when it comes to someone that is above and beyond. And yeah, recognizing all the volunteers with certificates or whatever we decide, and a little tchotchke, something that's, you know, might mean something to people. And then also, and pulling out maybe a couple handfuls of volunteers that really make a difference. But I agree. I think that they don't have to physically be here, posthumously, whatever that word is, you know, if they've been gone, as in left this earth, or they're still on this earth, I think it would be great. Other comments on this category? I vote for Jennifer.
No.
Jennifer, you're one of those in the shadows too. I mean, even when when I first onboarded and first 2.5 years before we went under this pandemic, I mean, you were always there. You're the can-do. You reached out to me and said, hey, you want help delivering those backpacks? I mean, come on, you see a need and you jump in.
And everybody knows Jennifer.
What'd you say, Jerry?
Everybody knows Jennifer and loves her. I get a lot of feedback from the little gals that I get to drive, as far as Jennifer has been my mentor from day one. Oh, I love Jennifer. She's so sweet. She calls me and just says hello. And you're right. Jennifer is always there when there is a need, Jen, and you know it.
I know, but I like to share recognition. I'm not prone to standing out. I like to be a worker bee.
You are. That's fine.
Well, we could maybe make our favorite worker bee instead of our inner.
Well, maybe suggestion to the team here, recognize Claire and recognize Jennifer, but recognize all of our volunteers, but those two, you know, they get the crystal, the other ones get like a, you know, certificate, you know, anyone that has volunteered throughout this past year.
Well, I would nominate Supriya, quite frankly, because she truly has taken on a huge task, and for many years, and she is the epitome volunteer of time, energy, seriously. So what, I have a little conflict with me because I'm partially employed.
Well, you know what? Get over it. We're a board member too. The other thing we can do, and Supriya can cover her ears if everyone supports that, is we can surprise her. And I won't even put it in the program, but we'll surprise her and recognize her. I've done that before, where you recognize someone that is the leader of the team kind of thing, but you really feel everyone on the board and so forth and so on would really like to recognize her and her efforts. And that is that is something that's been done for years, where people are surprised because they are who they are And they do it because out of the goodness of their heart and soul, like she does. I feel good. What do you guys think? Phyllis?
I nominated her.
I know, I saw it.
So
Marlene?
you know what I feel.
Marley?
She's such a visionary, and she just thinks out of the box, and she's just always going forward. And I think that's exactly what leadership is always
Mhm.
looking forward. And
Mhm.
she's A1 with that.
Okay,
She's
Supriya,
worked her
Phyllis,
yes or no?
I can't tell you how much flack I've received for those very same things.
Yeah, well, it's a
I've been
village.
grilled on the coals for the very same things you
Well, that's
say.
part of it,
That is
That's part of
just
being a
the-
leader. Look at poor President Biden. He can't do it right or wrong, you know, it's just
No,
the way it is.
Yeah,
Anybody in leadership.
right. Well, I like this. This sounds good. This sounds great. And then I'll have to get you other ladies there to help me write up Supriya's stuff behind closed doors. Don't tell. Don't act.
But can I say something? Because anybody who knew Elaine Pitts, Supriya fits the bill because she's not afraid to say what she thinks and take on any task. And that was Elaine Pitts.
She did say it like she meant it and knew it. Yes, and she did. Yeah.
You know what's real interesting, that hits home. Thanks so much for sharing that, Jennifer, because Elaine Pitts and I got to know each other. Elaine joined Rotary when she was about 92, and the board of directors were going, I don't know, what can she do? She's, an old lady, that kind of thing. Well, just shortly thereafter, I think I was president of my club, and I asked her, because I was looking at trying to get people involved, I asked her to be my advisor. So I met with her twice a month, and I went to her home, and that woman is so much. Supriya, I think that's what you're going to be like when you're 90 years old.
If I'm lucky, I don't think so. Those were very big shoes, and I don't know who can fill them. So no, I don't think so.
But just
We all try. We can all try. That's it.
Yep, we just keep trying. But I think
before we end, I do want to talk about Sophia. I know because her last day is the end of July, and we want to give her a befitting send off. I do want to decouple any contributions of Jim from hers. So when we give her a send off in July, I want it to be exclusively for everything Sophia herself has done, and leave Jim out of it. And if at the benefit we want to do something else, that's different, but her send off should focus exclusively on her. So I just wanted to
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I
Mhm.
agree.
so. The 30th of July is a Friday. We could do something. The reason I brought up, well, there's BJ's, but there's also, so that we're in Foster City, there is that lovely room. They finished repainting at Bellini's Bistro. It's a thought to be back there if we want to do like a quote happy hour light meal kind of thing versus a sit down lunch or a sit down dinner. I don't know. I just thought that would be really cool to do, and I know they're still looking for support, we'll put it that way, to stay up and alive, Bellini's. So
I think that's a good idea.
they are really gracious. I've really built a relationship with them, and I know Marlene and Richard have, and a few others of going there. Mark Watson knows them well as Sam. His last name is, one of our recent donors. So Runco. So, and then we could invite people to be there. Maybe we may need to charge a little bit instead of footing the bill, having the village pay it. I think it might be good. And then we can put together a certificate and maybe something, a little, I don't know, spa package or something for her.
And that venue is very good because it's semi-private in a way. You wouldn't have to.
Doors.
BJ's is not, yeah.
how about cost wise? Are they affordable? I found them to be a little pricey.
Yeah, they were $17 for lunches. Just so you know.
Well,
We
maybe
might,
we can make arrangements for hors d'oeuvres or something, Mary.
yeah, that's what I was thinking later. Thank you. I didn't use that word, but that's what I was thinking. Like after work hours, maybe a 4 to 6 time or something, have hors d'oeuvres and drinks kind of thing.
Well,
Give-
realistically, how many working people do we have?
I don't know.
I don't think there's too
Well,
many.
our board of directors, I mean, Mark,
Mark,
Sabrina,
Sabrina,
Patricia.
Well,
I'm
Sabrina doesn't, I'm,
Mark.
Yeah, she may not even be able to attend.
right.
They know
And that
him.
would be during dinner hour too, though, Mary. Would they give us the back room?
Mhm.
I think so. I could talk with them. Maybe it's 3 to 5, the quieter time. Because they're very open. I was talking to them about that and bringing something in, but, and I can see, I'll ask them if you guys are open to that.
I don't know, I kind of like lunch.
You like lunch? Okay.
Mhm. Sit down. But that's
They
just me.
Oh, yeah, I love lunch.
I would prefer sit down too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, we
Okay,
don't have to make a decision now. This time.
Does the 30th work for you ladies?
Mhm.
Sort of. I have to reschedule because I have a caregiver group that is going to meet on that day. But
Okay.
if
Let
we
me
do lunch, that
confirm.
won't be a problem.
Do you want to try Thursday, Thursday, the 29th?
No, that's Mexican.
Mexican
train.
train. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
no,
30
don't make arrangements for the caregivers. There are only 4 of us in the group, so we can work around it.
Okay, does that work for you, Supriya? It's after the 24th of July.
Oh, are we talking about the 29th?
No,
No, we're
30th.
30th, Friday.
Talk with them.
30th might work.
Yeah, at lunch.
Can I confirm say I need another 48 hours?
Okay,
Because
no,
I have family visiting town the previous week, and if they extend their stay, then we have a really important birthday on that day. So if they extend their
Oh.
stay, then I don't know what will happen at my place. So that's the only thing, but otherwise it's fine. May not happen. So let's try.
Okay, so we'll tentatively hold the 30th at lunchtime,
Yeah.
and I'll check with them. I won't secure anything. And back on, we need to close. It's a minute after 1. Are we looking at, okay, we're gonna recognize Supriya, and then we are, we're gonna advise the board of directors. That's who we wish to, and then all of our volunteers, but highlight the story of Claire and Jennifer.
I thought the board will be voting on it, right?
Yeah, but that's what we'll advise.
We
Yeah.
suggest them.
I'll just say from our meeting of our team, what we're advising. If that works, does that work?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, because they may have some other ideas too.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's not that it's in stone yet. Okay, and then when do we want to meet again? It is, I don't even know what day it is. I'm gonna find it.
I'm going to jump off, Mary,
Okay,
and I'll pick up whatever date you have. I think I should be flexible. Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Would it be too much if we just met after our operations board meeting and kept it short? Because we usually aren't more than an hour on our ops meeting on the 12th.
That works.
That works for me.
Yeah, I might be.
What time would that?
It'd be about 1 o'clock on Monday, the 12th.
Yeah,
Okay.
And will that be after your board meeting? So you will have more to talk
Yeah.
about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's on the 8th. Mhm.
it's perfect. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's 8.
Mary, did you get everything you wanted out of this meeting?
Yeah, I think I'm good. I will circle back with you, Sherry, on a few things on the ticket, the verbiage and all that before I go to print,
Okay.
send that all out, because they haven't you know, I haven't sent it to them and say, okay, this is what I want, but now I do. I feel like I have something that they can give us a draft, and then we can all look at it and go, change this, move this, you know, because then it'll be formatted versus just in a Word doc. That's how they like it. I give it to them in a Word doc and then they create it. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Any other questions or comments from you all? All right.
Mary, just for my own information, how much are
Yep.
the families of of our members involved? Or,
We have had several come,
okay.
where they,
Curious.
like, Beverly Kamosi, her son usually brings her, and when we Betty Garcia, her 3 children came. There's a couple of others. I can see her face. I can't think of her name. Her son was a former ambassador.
Oh,
Oh.
Evelyn.
Evelyn Bender.
Yeah, so encouraging them to come. But yes, thanks for bringing that up. It's, yeah, they do that often. The reason some of them came is because we did role models, and we recognized 12 people that were role models in our lives. And I think about 10, maybe 9 of them were members. And they got to walk the runway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I set up the runway and everything. That was in 2018. That was sort of kind of fun. So it was something.
I think if we can send invitations to these emergency contact people, it might help, because we're doing an awful lot for their family.
Yeah, I was just thinking it would be nice to have, if they could participate and attend, it's nice for them to see what the village does for their family members.
Mhm.
Well, and if we're doing brunch, we may be more likely to get family members attending.
True.
So emergency contacts. Okay, makes sense. I don't know if we have in the past. I wouldn't be surprised if we hadn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if we had. So it's on the list. Okay.
Well, a lot of the older gals, like Lila, her daughter brought her.
Mhm.
And there were those who did have a sibling or a relative of some sort bring them in.
Of
Mhm.
course, yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah, we got to try to think of other groups that would be interested in coming up and beyond. Yeah, but okay.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Minnie.
everybody.
Darlings.
Bye.
Talk to
Yeah, it's only 1:07. Yay. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, sweetheart.
I'm going to stop recording.